Hey, welcome to NECKROOTS podcast. This is podcast episode number 3. This one's going to be awesome. Neck Nation, you're going to love it.
Yeah, it's on attitude for altitude, right? And
Yeah,
we're elevating ourselves. So let's get up there.
That's why we say bless up, right?
That's why we say bless up.
We're going. We're aim tall, right?
There you go, brother.
It don't matter how small you are. You start small and aim tall. So attitude for altitude. Here we go. Attitude's a big one. This is a big deal.
Yeah. I'm sorry to cut you off there, kid. I'm really excited to talk about this today. In fact, one of the reasons I'm excited about this is as I was thinking about attitude, there's an aspect to this that's really important, and that is, what is our attitude when it counts the most, right? Because we've all got good attitudes when things are going our way, but what is our attitude when we're faced with adversity or faced with trials? And I can tell you for myself, I've let a bad attitude ruin a day. I've let a bad attitude ruin a week, a month. I've even let a bad attitude ruin a year, right? At a certain point in my life. And, through these ups and downs, I talked to my dad about these struggles that I was going through. And he had something that he would say to me, and he says, I say, Dad, I'm really struggling with this, and I feel this way. And he goes, you need to have surgery. And I'm like, have surgery? What are you talking about, have surgery? He goes, you need to have that nerve between your eyeballs and your hind end severed so you can get rid of your crappy outlook on life, brother. And so I'm excited that we're talking about attitude today and positive attitude, and I think it's going to be good for all of our listeners as well.
Well, you must have had it severed because I haven't noticed it.
There you go. Good deal, dude. Sometimes it reattaches. You just got to keep having that surgery.
Yeah, you got to pay attention. Well, it's interesting. People always say that. I used to say stuff to my kids all the time, and, we'll get into that, but there's a great example. I always told them, I said, son, that bad attitude is just like a flat tire. You're not going anywhere until you change it. And that's true.
Oh, yeah.
You have a bad attitude, you're not going anywhere. But just like I got my glasses on today, the way I like to look at attitude, Austin, is like a pair of glasses. I call them attitude glasses. And these aren't my attitude glasses, don't worry. I'm not going to get an attitude today.
There you go.
But attitude glasses, because everybody has them, and they're unique to themselves. So your glasses are different than mine, but the interesting thing is what you see through those glasses is unique to you as an individual. Whoever's listening, everybody has a pair of attitude glasses. Nobody's without them, right?
Right.
And that's the way you see yourself. You see your situations. You see your future. You see your day. You see others around you. You see problems. You see solutions through these eyes, through these frames and these glasses. And so it's very, very important to make sure keep them glasses clean, right?
Sure, yeah.
And we update our attitude just like we update our cell phones. It's super important. So to jump into this, teaching my kids how to work and work hard. We were out at the ranch, and you've seen how many trees are around here at the NECKROOTS Ranch, right?
Oh yeah, you're not without any trees, brother.
Oh, dude, there's a lot of trees. So which means in the fall there's a lot of leaves.
Oh yeah. So
kids were 9, 11-ish, right in there, and we're out. I said, okay, boys, let's go. We got to do our chores, and then we got to start mobbing on these leaves. I'm going to put somebody on the John Deere, and they're going to start making their rounds, and we're going to take the blowers and blow all these leaves off into the pathway, and you just keep sucking them up and bagging them. And so anyways, my oldest, he had a bad attitude, right? He had a seeing problem that morning.
Seeing problem.
He had a seeing problem. He couldn't see himself getting out of bed, first of all.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Second of all, his glasses, they were dark. You know what I mean? He was like, yeah, Saturday sucks. Right? Yeah. These leaves, they're just going to keep falling. And we got hundreds of trees around here. So
I know.
You got to keep up on it. You
Yep.
know what I mean? So anyway, I said, son, don't have a bad attitude, dude. It's just going to spoil the rest of it for everybody else. I'm not having a bad attitude. And it's like, oh, I can tell.
Yeah.
So what was interesting, though, is we went about our day, and with his bad attitude, and I pointed it out to him later, it took 3 times as long, right, to get the job done. It wasn't done with pride, because you can't get a job done with pride when you got a bad attitude.
Sure.
But the interesting thing about it was an attitude is contagious. right?
You know what? That's true. I have totally noticed that, especially with people some other coworkers of mine that just have a good attitude. And if I see on my calendar or something like that I got a meeting with them that day, I'm like, hey, that's going to be a good meeting because I know so and so has a really good attitude.
Right. So what's interesting is we just been through a pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And bad attitude, bro, it's the same thing. It is very, very contagious. You need to wear a good attitude mask. And you need to stay 6 feet or more away from the person with a bad attitude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that serious. So it'll affect you. But a good attitude will do the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So there's two forces there. But I told my son, I said, look, you spoil the whole day with a bad attitude, and it's that much easier. And then when it was months later, we were picking jobs and chores around the ranch. I said, hey, look. Which one are you going to do? Let's divide and conquer, man. You boys jump in. And my youngest is like, I'll do that one, that one, that one. He picked the easy ones and as fast as he could. And I'm like, slow down, son. Pull on the reins just a little bit. Let's just figure this out, make a plan. And I told my oldest, I said, why does everybody shy away from this chore? And he said, I don't know, it's the hardest. And I said, let me tell you a secret. Come here. I said, your little brother will teach him in a couple of years. You're the oldest, so let me tell you a secret. You pick the hardest chore, it's usually, if you have the right attitude, it's usually the one you can get done the fastest. And is that true or not true? I don't know. But what it did is it disrupted his mind and the way he was thinking. So in his mind, a little disruption, a little confusion. He went in there, got that chore done, and he was done before us, right?
That's awesome.
You pre-program that attitude. So attitude, what I've noticed, will absolutely affect your work, your play, anything. It'll affect your whole day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So attitude is literally, it's that important. The truth is, it's real simple. I mean, life's simple. We insist on complicating it, right? And what's one way we complicate it?
By having a bad attitude.
Right?
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So attitude's very, very important. One of the things that I like to use as a demonstration when I'm talking to my kids is we don't realize how powerful attitude is, but I want you, Neck Nation, to think about all the powerful things that are out there that you cannot physically see with your eyes, but you know they bring the power. And one of them that comes to mind is thunder, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
We've all been in a thunderstorm, shakes the windows. Can you see thunder?
Never seen it in my life.
Yeah, never seen it. But we always say it's time. We're going to get Western and we're going to bring the thunder, right? Or whatever. People know that has power.
Yeah.
So we don't physically see it, but we feel its power and we see its effect. Wind, recently, California, Florida, all over. We've had some windstorms here that have toppled a few trees. You can see the power after the fact, but when you see the wind, you cannot physically see the wind.
No, you can't.
Right?
The hurricanes, right? The storm, the wind in the hurricane that just hit down in Florida.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody saw the wind, but we can definitely see the devastation from it.
You were just down there. You saw the aftermath.
Oh, yeah. It was crazy. I couldn't believe that, even several months after the storm had hit, or several weeks after the storm had hit, that traffic lights and signals and signs were all still down. You could tell that a hurricane just went through there.
So you can see its power. So today we come into the NECKROOTS Ranch recording studio and we flipped the switch, right? And the light came on. Did we see the conductivity and the power running through the walls?
No, not at all. But we're getting the fruits of it.
Right?
Yeah.
So attitude's a lot like that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, how's it any different? I mean, think of all the things you can see that you cannot see, but you see the effects of them.
Well, the most powerful one in the universe, right? Gravity. Most powerful effect in the universe, and you can't see gravity. But I know we were talking a little earlier. If you jump out of an airplane, gravity's doing its job, right?
You're going to feel its power.
Yeah, you are.
So, Neck Nation, look, all those things that you can't physically see, that you can see the effects of and feel the power, they bring power. Attitude is just like that. Attitude will make or break your day. It'll make or break, anything you're doing that day, right? And so One thing I've noticed, because it is so powerful, as I go throughout my day, you'll have people that'll 10 minutes of bad juju or bad attitude or whatever. Someone's in there complaining and minoring and majoring in minor things and making a big deal out of something that's not a big deal or whatever. They're bringing that bad attitude in there. If you're not careful, that 10 minutes will ruin a whole day, right?
Oh, sure. So, yeah, if you let it.
If you let it, yep. We definitely have a choice. And so that bad attitude, you got to just discount them, get rid of them. But what's interesting is, I told you in the episode before this that I used to hire the attitude but train the talent.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Because it's that important. And so as I was teaching the boys how to work, I said, look, getting the job done and being productive at the chore or the work or the task at hand is very, very important. But you know what's more important? Doing it with the right attitude, right? Because when I see someone that works for me and they're out there and they're doing something, you got two different people, right? They're wired different, or they are exactly what we're talking about. Yeah. They'll come up, they're grateful, or thank you, boss, da-da-da-da-da. And man, you just want to give the guy more.
Sure.
Right? And then you got the guy that says, I earned it, give me that, and then they'll complain if this or this or this isn't there or whatever. So I think attitude is a direct reflection on yourself. If you look in the mirror, right, it is a direct reflection on yourself. Your attitude is everything.
It is. You know what? And as you said that, it's causing me to reflect on one of these periods of time in my life where I didn't have the best attitude or outlook on a specific job that I was doing. And I carried this bad attitude for quite a long time. And it's funny how the bad attitude will eke into the other areas of your life, right? It's not just, hey, I've got a bad attitude while this is going on, but it has a negative impact everywhere. It has a negative impact on relationships, has a negative impact on maybe other sports, hobbies, whatever it is that you like doing, right? If you like hunting and you got a bad attitude about hunting, well, you're not going to like hunting for very long, right? Hunting's going to become a chore rather than become an activity that you enjoy, right? So, but the bad attitude eked into the other areas of my life and really started to cause a lot of problems. And it wasn't until I realized, how bad it had gotten and decided that I was going to make a change that the other areas of my life began to improve as well. So attitude's really important.
It changes everything. I've been all over the world and for business and different things, and I've met people who, in my opinion, you would think, man, they're barely getting by. They came into this country, they didn't speak this language, and as I listen to their stories and where they're from and what they're doing, and they're the happiest people on the planet.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
And it's interesting because sometimes we think that those tangible things, right, that we have or we compare or whatever, all those things are going to affect your attitude, and your glasses are going to be fogging up, right?
Yeah.
They're going to go to a dark place.
They will.
I think gratitude, and we're gonna cover that in one of these episodes. It stands all by itself, but attitude will affect not just your mental health. Believe it or not, you can research it. It'll affect your physical health. It will.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah. Like I said, when I was going through that hard time, all aspects of my life were impacted negatively, including my health.
Yeah, everything. It's a big deal. So attitude, obviously, is powerful.
Yeah.
It has the power to change, and it has the power to there's a lot of cause and effect with attitude. So, what's interesting is I used to always tell my boys when they were wrestling and working, I'd say, hey, look here, you need to work harder than this guy and this guy. Oh, if I go up against this guy, man, he's so talented, he's so good. And I said, I don't want to hear about his talents, because I used to always tell them, look, when talent doesn't work hard, the hard work will always beat it, right? Yeah. Hard work beats talent that doesn't work hard every day.
Sure.
And I started thinking about attitude as we're sitting here talking. It's the same thing. Attitude trumps an IQ, right? The guy over there that's Einstein that's doing the smarty pants dance, right?
Yeah.
They have a fixed attitude, right? And the way they look at things is just reality. And they tend to be not as open to problem solving, right? And so I read this review that was done at Harvard, and I could not believe that a good attitude will open your view, allow you to problem solve a little bit better. And those are the guys that usually figure out solutions to the problems because they're open. Their attitude is allowing them to say, hey, it's okay, we got a problem, but we're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep, that positive attitude leads to solutions.
Yeah,
I've heard that before.
You've encountered people like that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's nothing that gets them down. There's nothing that slows them down. And that's a direct reflection on them as a person. So,
yeah, and I've seen some pretty amazing things happen in situations where I thought that there was no hope. There was no way that something was going to come through or something was going to fall in line.
Right.
And my bad attitude prevented it, but somebody else had a good attitude and they went out and they made it happen. And it just so miracles can happen when you've got a positive attitude.
I'm telling you what, when you look up and you bless up and you got the right attitude, it makes all the difference in the world. That's why I always told the kids, it is like a flat tire.
Yeah, you'll go nowhere.
You go absolutely nowhere. So, anyways, getting back to the comparison between these two, if it affects the way your mind opens up to problem solve, I mean, politicians, they can find the problem, right? It takes somebody that's a little bit more open to find the solution, right? It takes an entrepreneur or somebody with the right attitude to find the solution. Identifying the problem's easy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Solutions and problem solving are different, right? You tell a pessimist, hey, here's a solution to your problem. I already know what he's going to do. He's going to find a problem with the problem.
He's going to tell you why the solution isn't going to work.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, the one thing I always come back to when I think about attitude is the word struggle. Right? When you're struggling, it's automatic. Your attitude's going to follow the struggle. Right? And so I think it's how do we convert that struggle? And when I look at struggle, where my kid said, man, I'm struggling with this wrestling move. I'm struggling with this at school. I'm struggling with this, where struggle equals growth.
Yeah.
If you can look at it like that and say, hey, struggle equals growth, man, look at it like that and you're going to figure out how to get through it. Because when you tell 3 or 4 people your struggles or your problems, you're not looking for a solution. You're looking for attention.
Yeah.
Right? So
sure.
So I
never thought about it that way, but that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's just, I mean, if you can look at it, you can get your attitude in check when you say, hey, we're all going to go through struggles, right? That's guaranteed. Oh, yeah. That's a money back guarantee.
No kidding.
So if we can say struggle equals growth, we all know it's true, but struggles suck, right? So that's one of those things that you just have to look at, Neck Nation, and say, hey, look, struggle equals growth, right? So I had a family member call me a couple years ago, and he calls me up and he's like, man, Kit James, I got to tell you right now, I'm going through a very tough time. I lost my job, laid me off. And he goes on for 5 or 10 minutes. And I listened and I'm like, okay. And then he was done. And he's like, and? I go, well, what do you want me to say? I said, dude, I'm sorry. That sucks. That sounds like you're going through a rough time. He goes, yeah. Well, you've always got wisdom. Give me some wisdom. That's why I'm calling you. I'm like, well, I don't think you're going to want to hear it. And he said, no, I want to hear it. And I said, all right, saddle up. Here it comes. I said, congratulations, man. And he said, congratulations. Are you crazy? I just told you I lost my job and da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I am. I said, congratulations. And what it did is it shifted his mind away from his problems, opened it back up, right? Thinking I'm crazy, which I probably am, but
yeah, a little bit.
and so anyways, what was interesting though is I said, congratulations, because you know what? There's 2 emotions in this life that will move you to massive action. Inspiration and desperation. And I said, you sound pretty desperate, bro. I said, that means that one door that closed on you today that you're emotionally upset about. Yeah. Change your attitude. Keep your eyes open, because there's going to be another door that opens that you can drive a Mack truck through. So he's like, all right, buddy, well, I got to go. Yeah. But fast forward a few years, and that's exactly what happened. That desperation of finding a replacement job to take care of his family, it worked out. It's a better job. He has a better career. and it worked out. So does it make the struggle any easier? No, not really. But if we can always remember to look back, right? Have you ever been in a time in your life when you go, man, look at this mountain in front of me. I just don't think I have the energy to climb this one, and it's going to be tough, and it's going to be hard, and da-da-da-da-da. And you just remember, look back.
Yeah.
When you look back and reflect, it's never good to live in the past, but when you look back and you reflect, you go, oh, I've already climbed mountains taller than this.
Right. Yeah.
And we have.
Yeah, and it's interesting, as I'm thinking about, okay, so how do we have a better attitude? What do we do to get a better attitude in the moment, right, is to step back and look at the bigger picture. It seems like even in this example that you had with your family member, right, the bigger picture was not that you lost your job, but that there's desperation, which is going to move you to action, which is going to cause you to find something better.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, no, that's the key. So attitude, powerful, right? It's important. When we go through struggles, let's change that in our minds, in our attitude. Let's change that struggle to growth. Because, look, we all heard when you're going through something that's difficult, if you're religious or study the Bible or anything, they say, hey, God's not going to give you any more than you can handle. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not true.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what book they're reading, but He gives you exactly what you can handle and then a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know why He gives you a little bit more?
Because He needs you to rely on Him for some help.
And that's where the growth happens.
That's where it's happening.
Yeah. If He just gave you what you could handle, bro, we'd be able to handle everything. Yeah. There'd be no growth. Right? So struggle equals growth. So in wrapping this up, Austin, I think the best thing to do is, Neck Nation, I'm telling you, you have to understand that grapes, they must be crushed to make wine, right? Diamonds, they form under pressure, right? Olives are pressed to release oil. Seeds grow in darkness.
Yeah.
So what does that tell us? Whenever you feel crushed, pressured, pressed, in darkness, whatever you're feeling, just remember, good attitude and a call to action is the transformation that you need during those times. We're all going to feel pressed. We're always going to feel in the dark. That's part of the process, right?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And thank you for those awesome words of wisdom, Kit. And I'm definitely excited to have a better attitude moving forward and making sure that I have that positive attitude even in those dark times or in those pressured times. So, Neck Nation, if you enjoyed the content today, be sure to like this video. Subscribe to the podcast. Remember, the more you like and the more people we get subscribed, the more people we can reach, and the more people can hear these inspirational messages. But for now, bless up, Neck Nation.
Bless up. We're out. Let's go.
Let's go.